tribe. Welcome y'all in, just cleansing the energy out. So this is gonna be my midnight intuition session. I'm planning on doing this for 7 days. I'm gonna have 7 downloads for 7 days. So this is gonna be not a lot of cards being pulled. These are intuitions. This is like that place when I tap into my mind and my meditations and I begin to write. Spirit had me at this place before, like 2 years ago. When I first started this, I started with downloads. It was I was just coming into my gifts, and I was just beginning to understand what it was about myself and different things. So, Spirit has me back at the beginning, right? So, first of all, I want to start off by saying all praise to the Most High and a big old ashe to the ancestors. Let that move around in your energy, right? And we're going to get to these downloads. These sessions are real intimate. So if you feel yourself drawn here, it's for a reason. So with no further delays, I'm going to get right to it. The first download. The small works and the small walks of life are the most significant. Now, in spirituality, small walk means something. This is what small walk means in spiritual terms. It means intentional evaluation of oneself. These are the small walks, right? So the small works and the small walks are most significant in life. Basically, what this download is saying is we all get caught up on a destination and where we're going and where we're trying to be. Sometimes we become frustrated when we're not where we think we should be at. Spirit says, well, the small works and the small walk, that's the most significant part. This is time when you take out of your normal schedule to reevaluate yourself, to look inside yourself. This is the small work and the small walks. It's intentional. Really intentional stuff here, right? Because if you overlook the small work and the small walk, you're going to miss the valuable lesson. And God forbid you move into something too fast. Like I remember one time in my life, I inherited a lot of money. It was real fast. It was unexpected. And I burned straight through it because I wasn't really set. I wasn't situated for all that to come in. And I want somebody to get that because I feel like you could be manifesting in a real strong way. But don't forget the small works and the small walk. And again, small walks and spiritual terminology, it all boils down to the intentional evaluation of oneself. These are your small walks, okay? Number 2, beating around the bush is evasive and conning. Shift your energy. Ask for what you want and be direct. And then, of course, I grab a scripture, James 4:3 says, ye ask and receive not because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon lust. Great wisdom in that verse. I don't really know where you stand at. Some people not too religious. I understand that, I'm more all around, right? So I use this in context. It says, beating around the bush is evasive and conning. All right, start there. If you're a person and you have a problem expressing what you want, you can become a person that goes into the energy of conning people, right? Simply by beating around the bush. Because if you go to somebody and you need something and you're afraid to ask them for it, you begin to start doing things, and all of that energy is negative. It's conning energy, and it's evasive. And a lot of times, you don't get what you want when you're in that energy, right? The beating around the bush, if anything, to a person who's awakened, when you beat around the bush, you automatically on an offensive note. Because a person who intuitive, they understand that you starting over there to get over here, right? And some people don't like that, like especially people who are very serious with their temperament. The last thing you can do to get the desired effect out of those people is beat around the bush. If you beat around the bush with those kind of people, you're probably not going to get far. And like the scripture, James 4:3 says, ye ask and receive not because you ask amiss. And that you may consume it upon lust. You know what this is saying? This is like having a problem in your life that you need to be addressed on a spiritual level. I'm talking about a bigger level, like a moral problem. Moral, spiritual, or mental, right? But we'll negate that. And what we'll do is we'll ask people for stuff that we just need right now, temporarily. And this is why in this verse is saying, ye have not because ye ask amiss. It's meaning like we spend all our energy asking for stuff that just satisfy our lust, that we spend so much time doing that, and then we end up not really asking for what we really need. Sometimes I wonder if we even know how to ask for what we need, because we are drawn away. We ask amiss, and therefore we receive not what we need. When you ask amiss that you may consume it upon lust, that's temporal needs. Imagine like, you ever been in a situation where you thought you needed $20 from somebody, but you probably really didn't need $20 or 30 or 40 or 50, right? Or even 100. But if you really boil it down, did that $100 that you asked for, was it really solving the problem, the real problem? And it wouldn't ever solve the real problem because it's asking amiss. Be direct, Spirit says. And that's way you get the desired result. Because when we want something, we either want yes or we want no. So if you beat around the bush, then what happens when the bush beat around you? It's like you come to a person that peep your con, you ask them, they know you beating around the bush, and then they give you something back like, oh, I'm going to see about it. I got to check and see. See, you started that energy. So to avoid that evasive and conning energy, Spirit says, be direct. All right. Number 3. This is brief. It ain't no fun when a rabbit got a gun, but don't shoot. Right. And I feel this is a call to somebody. It's a call of humility. I know that you may have the upper hand right now. Like, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, but don't shoot. Spirit says, you know, yeah, people may have done you wrong. Yeah, you have the upper hand. And yeah, it could really feel good to come down on them. But why though? It's not even about being nice or merciful. It's about preserving your energy at this point. This is not about, I'm not here telling you to be a perfect Christian or be a perfect saint or be a perfect whatever you consider yourself. I'm not the messenger that brings those tidings. What I'm telling you is, you got the gun, right? Don't shoot, right? Don't take aim. Let them have it. Because what it does is it creates up a lot more power in your energetic field. When you know somebody done you wrong and you know you doing well and you outdone what they did to you, the best thing you can do is don't even look back. Don't slight them. No, I told you so. None of that. Just keep on moving. Number 4, and they begin to get deeper as we go along. So number 4 is definitely a little deeper than the first 3. So you might really want to, put this on download or replay or whatever. You might want to write some of this down. This is important. Unlike the mundane, which is the world order of things, the natural world we live in. Unlike the mundane, where we can switch partners or change addresses, in the spirit realm, frequency is your address. If you don't change your frequency, in spite of where you go, your address and spiritual environment will remain the same. So I'm going to break this download down. In the mundane world, when we have a problem, we move out the house. We don't get along with somebody, we leave the relationship. In the mundane, that's mundane separation, right? Bam. Not so easy in the spirit. In the spirit, your frequency is your address, right? So therefore, you have to change your frequency in order for you to truly change your environment. Because if you don't change your frequency, you can move into a good environment physically and you'll end up turning it right back into the environment you're trying to get away from. Because your spiritual environment doesn't change unless you change your frequency. The address remains the same. Everything will find you at that address. Like, say your address in the spirit is low vibration, right? Malice, malicious intent, whatever. Just say that's your address because you live on that frequency. I can move you from the East Coast to the West Coast. Your frequency gonna still, anything spiritually gonna still find you. Any negative low vibrate, because your frequency is your address in the spirit realm. Because some people think that they can move away from things and things will get better. How will they get better when your address never changed on a spiritual level? It requires a frequency change in order for your spiritual address to change. Number 5, each layer of self has positive and negative qualities. As we disrobe layers of self, it is important to thoroughly examine both qualities to avoid hypocrisy or self-delusion. That's big real. I'm gonna break it down. So, you know how they say ascension and elevation and all of these wonderful things that they say. Well, all these are layers of self. So as we begin to shed layers of self, you have to realize each layer of yourself has negative and positive, right? Some people make the mistake of shedding a layer, right, and not really reviewing thoroughly that layer. It's like, I'm becoming more positive. Okay, well, did you deal with the negativity in that layer of yourself? Because if you don't deal with the negative aspect of that layer of self that you are shedding, it will show up. As you begin to shed, it will show up. So when we shed layers of ourselves, we have to have an understanding that it's a light side to this layer and it's a dark side to this layer. Let me thoroughly examine them. Because what happens is a lot of people, they'll shed layers of themselves, so to speak, don't thoroughly examine it, and then they move in hypocrisy. The hypocrisy of being something that they really not. Because in all actuality, they still have negative aspects of them layers that they're not looking at. So ultimately, it makes a person be in hypocrisy or even delusion of self. It can happen. That's why a lot of people sometimes think that they better than they really are. And this is why, I say about titles, like titles and positions and all of that, none of that really means anything to the Most High. God gives those titles to earthly people, hoping that we have something to live up to in those titles. But really, those titles don't really mean nothing. When you're talking about the energy of God and the Most High, this is the business right here. Examining yourself, knowing thyself, not being in delusion, because you got some people, they hold titles and they think that this means power and might of spirit. It doesn't. That's just another layer to examine. Honestly, if I get a title, I need to really understand that this is an earthly title, not a heavenly title. It doesn't concede with heaven just because man give it to me. All right, number 6. Music. Music shifts the spiritual environment, right? And I wrote down some things from my studies. So we all know about the trumpets of Jericho. That's in the Bible, where they marched around, they blew the trumpets, the walls crumbled. Well, Samuel 16 and 14, verse 23, it speaks about Saul playing a harp and driving out an evil spirit that God allowed to attack Saul, which is deep. I like that because it's real complex, right? It actually shows that it shows you a powerful dynamic in that particular verse of how God is not all this light. You know, Saul was affected by an evil spirit that God sent to him. And Samuel was able to string the heart and drive it away. And then all throughout the African diaspora, you have drums. People use drums to invoke spiritual ceremony, right? And it's much like music. You know, it shifts the environment. Like, I know in certain cultures of Africa, certain days they won't even beat drums because certain days they don't want certain spirits to come around, right? Kind of like rap music. Like, you know, it's like, you got your mother around, you ain't gonna put on the trap music, or your grandma, you don't, because you don't really want those spirits. Well, people understand music shifts the environment, right? Over in European, you have the Gregorian chant. But one of my favorite instances with music, how it shifts the environment on a spiritual level, is throughout the continent of Asia and India, they have an instrument known as the bansuri. And the bansuri is the most powerful spiritual weapon. I find it to be the most powerful spiritual weapon. Actually, it summons the energy of Krishna. And Krishna is a protection energy. You know, India is an ancient place, y'all. It's very ancient, right? So, and the bansuri is a flute. You know that flute they go, I can't really make the sound with my mouth, but you ever heard them Asian flutes or them Indian flutes? Well, that's the bansuri. And the bansuri is very powerful instrument. It shifts the energetic field. It summons the energy of Krishna. And Krishna is a protective energy. It's the protective energy of India. And it's crazy because the paradox in this to me is that the most powerful spiritual weapon is such a peaceful vibration in the 3D. I mean, it's a flute. I mean, like, you look at a flute, like a flute is harmless, but nonetheless, the bansuri is an instrument that has been celebrated throughout the annals of time. It's an energy that is it's an instrument that moves negativity, brings in positivity. Wherever the bansuri is playing at is normally not a negative place, right? And so music shifts the environment. So when you're having a hard time, allow music to assist you. It truly does shift the environment. It helps you to get comfortable. Whether you want to worship, whether you just want some jazz to mellow you out, just think about how you feel. Well, this is your spiritual environment, right? That's why, like, some people, they put on certain music and they let it play all throughout their house while they gone away at work. They set the environment. So, just be aware of that. Like, and also be aware of this. Thank you, Spirit. Music does, in fact, shift the environment. So when you're trying to reach a good, peaceful state, you can't reach it over top of music that's attached to a bunch of 808 kicks and negative bass drums. Music is a frequency that shifts the environment. So, you want to be peaceful, but the music that you playing in your environment or in your car is not conducive to peace, and we wonder why we can't find peace. Maybe we misusing music. It's real hard to find peace when you're listening to low vibrational music. Try some music on a 432 Heinrich Hertz frequency. Just put 432.8Z. Listen to that. Another good frequency is 1100 frequency. 1100. This Heinrich Hertz frequency, these different frequencies, they induce peaceful rhythms in your mind. Or whatever. You It's good old gospel music that might get you there, you know. But just be aware of music and what it's doing to your spiritual environment, right? Now, number 7, let go of the past in order to grab hold to the future. And I don't know who this is. Probably a lot of us. Probably a little bit of all of us, honestly, right? But understand, if your hands grip there, you can't reach here. If your mind is there, it can't be here. If your heart is there, it can't be here. Letting go is key. Letting go is key, right? Because sometimes people try to take on a lot before they let go. How you gonna reach it? You need that energy. That energy that you're reaching back with, that energy that you holding on with, you need to let something go to free that up. And then you can grab onto your future. A lot of us, we want to mesh it together. It's a trick of the enemy. You can never do that. You can't put old wine, what they say, you can't put new wine in old flasks or something like that. Basically, you can't put God things of the divine and God's things and the things of your own mechanics. You can't mesh them together. People even. You know, God got something for you that's here. But in order for you to get it, you gotta let go of so-and-so. Because so-and-so can't have that with you. And as long as you try to hold on to so-and-so or what, right? Person, place, or thing. As long as you try to hold on to that, it's gonna block you from getting what's in store for you. And it's like playing the game with yourself too. So ask yourself, is it worth it? Now, my last download, and then I'm gonna pull a couple cards before I get out of here. My last download is what I like to call an illustration, right? And this is about hypocrisy and fear. And I want to show you just how relevant it is in our everyday life so that we can begin to get rid of it, all right? Hypocrisy and fear is this download. It's an illustration. So you had two men. You had Bob, you had Semitrez. Bob and Semitrez, right? Bob and Semitrez. Now, Semitrez was very sharp at work, very advanced at work. You know, they did IT work, and Semitrez was very good at his job, right? So much so that Bob revered Semitrez. He looked up to him. He admired his style and everything, right? But Bob was a part of a certain faith, and they knocked other faiths. In their eyes, every other faith was of the devil, right? This was Bob and Bob's religion. Bob's religion said that every other god but their God was of the devil. Now, Semitrez was of a foreign faith. Now, mind you, Bob looked up to Semitrez in the workplace, right? Semitrez was overall more effective, more efficient than Bob. So Bob looked up to him. So lo and behold, one night, they ended up in a break room together, Bob and Semitrez, right? And Bob says to Semitrez, Semitrez, who taught you how to do this work so effectively and so efficiently? And Semitrez said, Bob, is simple. God showed me, right? And Bob instantly said, God? Oh, it's no way that God. What do you mean God, right? And Semitrez then again said, God showed me. And Bob couldn't accept that. See, hypocrisy and fear. See, Bob could accept that Demetrius was better than him. He had to. But what Bob couldn't accept was that the God that Demetrius worshiped is what made him better than him. See that fear and hypocrisy? Understand, chosen one. A lot of people in your life, that's the hypocrisy and fear that they live in. They'll give you credit for being an overall more proficient person, but when you say you plug them to something other than what they believe in, the fear and the hypocrisy will kick in. So be mindful of that. Bob and Demetrius. All right, so I'm going to pull a few cards, and then I'm going to get on out of here. Okay, tribe, what we got? Late night, early morning. All right. I'm going to leave these out. Got the Seven of Pentacles out here to the Hangman, Three of Cups. So you're a good worker. You know, somebody doing good work. Long-term work. Hard work. Somebody showing perseverance. So you're sticking in there. You're hanging on to what you do, which is good. And then you got the Hangman. Pause and surrender. You know, I really feel like somebody you're doing better, you know. Seven of Pentacles to the Hangman. It's like being willing to let go of old belief systems, being willing to invest in a newness of yourself, I feel. Somebody made a decision here, right? You got a lot of insight and you got a lot of clarity with the Seven of Pentacles. This is what you're achieving. You are making investments, right? Deposits within yourself, right? Sacrifice, change, and release. I like this. So I see it didn't come to you easy, right? And I like this for you. I love an earner. You know, Seven of Pentacles to this is a hangman the hard way, right? I feel like somebody, you understand what sacrifice is. Maybe unwanted vicissitudes was brought change. You was able to work through it. Constantly improving. I love that for somebody because it shows me a resilient character with this perseverance out here on this card. Like, and then you got Three of Cups, a card of celebration. And I feel like this is you. I feel like this is you. Of course, your ancestors involved in this, right? My Three of Cups, I'm a medium, so my Three of Cups always does involve ancestral celebration, like the favor of God on your life, those kind of things. Celebration, friendship, collaboration, creativity, community, and happiness. Yeah, I feel like somebody, you are entering into a more happy time in your life, right? And I like that. That's not saying that everything is good and everything is peaches and cream, but I feel like somebody, you work damn hard on yourself, right? Pat yourself on the back, because this hangman was the hard way. Like you might have had to make a decision to leave behind some people. With this hangman, you might have had to. I'm definitely feeling like you had to surrender to some things that were inside of you. In order to know, and you know, in order for us to get to know certain aspects of ourselves, we gotta surrender, right? And that's not always easy, especially like for my spirit mediums and psychic intuitives and people that deal with gifts that lead them beyond the veil. Sometimes it's so hard to surrender to that. You know, the world demonizes it so that it's hard. And that's why I'll be advising when you begin this journey and you come from like faiths like Islam or Christianity and you jumping into spirituality, seek out the book of Enoch. It's the book. Father Tertullian and those who decided to compose the Bible, the King James version. They purposely left out the book of Enoch. They on purpose left a lot of the other books. They couldn't put them in there, right? And the reason why they couldn't put a lot of the other apocryphal literature inside the Bible is because the Bible was a book that had to be state friendly. They didn't want to produce some of the rebels that would, the apocryphal literature speaks about a lot of rebels. It's the Ethiopian text, right? And you see how Ethiopia treated the Europeans. They whipped them. So they don't want you to necessarily have all that information. So when you just coming over and you just starting your journey, seek out the book of Enoch, right? It'll help you. It can help you with some of that surrender I'm talking about. You can gain the perspective of Enoch, which I feel is important. What Enoch had to say is definitely important. All right, let's move right along. What we got? Four Swords. Four Swords to the Seven of Cups. I'm liking these reads tonight, y'all. We lit over here, right? We got a Four Cups to the Seven of Cups to the Ace of Cups. Big water sign energy on the latter side, Four Swords. So I see somebody you're getting rest with this meditation and this contemplation, recovery, recuperation, retreat, renewal, solitude, plans for the future. Four Swords. That divine Four Swords give me rest, right? Seven of Cups off the Four Swords. I feel like it's good. It's good energy. I feel like your rest is bringing you creative ideas, even opportunities. Like, you ever notice when you get some good rest, it's real easy to seize them opportunities. When you well rested, your mind, you can balance out things. When you unrested, sometimes it leads to a missed opportunity, don't it? I remember in my life one time, I had fell into a slump. I was in a depression. Long before my ascension, I was in a depression, and I was surrounded by negative elements, and I used to have people calling me for jobs, nonprofit work, and too tired from the night before, I couldn't get up. And then it was certain times when I was going through certain issues and ordeals where I missed opportunities because I might have had a rough night and my face and my eyes was all red and I just wasn't together. And I would miss opportunities. No rest. So I see somebody, Four Swords to the Seven of Cups. I love it. To the Ace of Cups. Somebody ancestors love them. You got the Three of Cups and the Ace of Cups. And in my ancestral readings, those are the cups that, those are the cards that the ancestors fling out the deck when they want it to be known that they love you, basically. That's what they saying through the cards. Love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage, right? New baby. Somebody pregnant, had a newborn, or newborn spirit baby. Either way. It's just a lot of real good feeling energy in these spreads tonight. And thank God for that, Means I got some good people. I hope y'all stay connected with me for these other 6 nights. Because I'm going to be doing this, right? I feel like this is a good bunch of people. Because normally after 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time where I'm at, normally at this hour is 1:02 a.m. The devil done been fell out already by then. Normally, the devil be out here because, addictions. He might come out still, but for right now, it looks good. Hey, Beams. The death card shows up to the Three of Pentacles. You heard me, boy. Better not be what I think it is. Okay. That's the Eight of Swords in reverse. All right. Death card. Three of Pentacles. Eight of Swords in reverse. So this is speaking of change and transformation, which I can see this death card for this collective that's connected to me tonight. I really do see a lot of people in this energy that have ended some cycles, and you in your new beginning. You on your new beginning, right? Change, transformation, and even if it's not always about moving location. Sometimes the move is internally, the way your mind moves, the way your heart moves, the way your heart centered, right? Metamorphosis in the end of a cycle. This is death. Death card energy. Not a bad card. In order for new things to emerge, old things must die, right? This death card is to the Three of Pentacles. Again, one of my ancestral favorites. In my ancestral reading, the Three of Pentacles, that means that your spirit team is working with you. Three of Pentacles is a collaboration energy, right? It says teamwork, collaborating, learning, implementation, building something, skill, security, goals, long-term rewards. So I feel like you ended the old cycle and here you are. You working on your new thing. You working on your new thing and you in your groove. We got the Three of Cups to the Three of Pentacles. 33 could definitely be significant. But I feel like somebody, you really in your groove, and it's not necessarily easy, but it's not necessarily hard either, right? And I'm going to tell you, this death card to the Three of Pentacles is real ancestral. So I want you to know that it's not only you working, your people working with you. And I need you to know that. See, they speak in all of these books about ancestral communication. But the books speak about it, but don't nobody talk about it. But we're going to talk about it right now. Your ancestors, they are always present. They live around you and through you. Definite connection. Can't miss them. The high vibrational ones and the low vibrational ones. They live around you and through you in many different ways. Like, for instance, in the soul of things, right? I'm going to give you an aspect. I can't, my mother, who I know her to be, right? That's who I know her to be. But her soul, she transitioned. My mom, she's gone. Her soul can come back. If I had another child, her soul could come back in that child. And that could be my mother. Because the soul is different than the bio makeup. The bio is just a shell for the soul. So see how when I transition, my mom, she'll still be known to me as my mom. But her soul will still be existing as, she could be knowing me as her dad. It's wild how the soul goes. So you got all of these things working for you and working with you. This life, that life, future life, all happening simultaneously at one time. And I'm saying that to expand your conscious so that you can realize it's metaphysical things that work in your life that you was never taught about. And this is what I'm telling you about. Because somebody you moving around with these energies that's working with you, and you might not know them, but they know you and they ancestors. And this is why you're able to have the ending of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle, where you're becoming spiritually sensitive. You're gaining access to your Akashic records and all of these different extraordinary things, it's because of this Three of Pentacles. You got somebody that love you in the yamas working with you, like me. I say, I got my grandmama Alice, my great grandmama Alice. I'm gonna speak about mine, right? So maybe you'll get in touch with yours. You just think of them. You think of them and you relate to them, and they relate back to you. And when you think of them, think about what would make them proud, what will make them better. This is when they come to assist you. When you moving like they there. When you moving like they not there, it kills the contact. We all should have contact with our ancestors, but we all not willing to. Fear, for one. But I'm gonna talk about mine. Listen, y'all, I got my great grandmama Alice, right? She was a shaman of sorts, very occultic woman, root worker, right? She worked with roots. She was a healer. Everybody that worked with roots is not doing bad stuff, y'all. You know, my great grandmama Alice, she was a shaman. She was very much a root-oriented person, and her aura beyond the grave is very powerful in my life. She pre-imposes herself in my mind. She passed away when I was a lad. My last time seeing my grandmama Alice, I was about 9. I was about 13. I was about 9 when I last saw her. But she packed so much into me. As a child, she would take me and just bring me in a room, tell me things, because she knew they would come alive in me at this time. And her image is forever pre-imposed on my mind. That's my spirit people, ancestor, that move with me, that I'm familiar with. Then I got my great grandmother on my mama's side, Ruth, right? Eastern Star, super intuitive, psychic intuitive. So she lends me her intuition. You know, I got my dad, right, who I tap into. Didn't have the best relationship, but when I got it together, he got it together. So I was able to let him in. Right? I'm talking about my people that I move with. That you move with your people too. You just gotta open yourself up to that kind of thing. It's not a sin, it's not devilish, it's none of that. And there's a reason why you were programmed to think that. Because see, you gotta realize the Bible is a good book, it's just not the whole story. They took King James, the funky king, he was very dirty and nasty, by the way. King James was trifling, very trifling. A lot of them were trifling. The Romans and the English, they were trifling, very trifling. Very, very extreme levels of triflinity that you could never even comprehend. I was watching something earlier that said Queen Elizabeth was so funky they couldn't even go in the room and hold delegations with her because her breath, her teeth was rotting, and they said she would put on layers of clothes to try to hide the funk because she wasn't getting it. Very trifling people, but nevertheless, these are the people that composed the King James version of the literature. And the reason why they did it was because they knew that a certain amount of truth will have a power. It's power in it because it's history in it. Anywhere you find history, gonna be power because there is only history. So it's history, but it's just not history in the full context. It's purposely broke down and misconstrued and placed in proper angles so you can reach God through the Bible. Indeed, you can. You can reach a lot of spirits of rightness through the Bible, right? How you think our people was able to overcome? They grabbed the spirit of the Bible, right? Not the letter, the spirit. So yeah, it's truth there, but it's not the whole truth. Because the whole truth suggests that we all walking around this earth with divine power. And see, they couldn't have that. The King James Version, it couldn't go against Father Constantine. Now, Constantine was the one who ordered the religion. See, I'm just a little bit of history. I'll be going off, but yeah. Anyway, you got your peoples working with you, Three of Pentacles. And now the Eight of Swords in reverse, wow. Would you look at that? I'm doing all of this talking about the histories of religion and all of that. And it's the reason why, because the Eight of Swords out here, it says self-limited beliefs. So, it's important that you be willing to expand yourself. Or either you can remain the same. The choice is up to you. But it's more to every story. There's more to it, right? So self-limiting beliefs, they're going to hold you up. They will. So I'm not saying let go of certain things. I'm saying go after more. Find out why. Find out what really happened. That's what I like to do. I like to get down to the bone grip. That's what makes me, that's what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me planted. See, I'm not one that's going to perish due to lack of knowledge, but it's not always knowledge that I'm seeking either. Most of the time I'm seeking understanding. And this is why I go after that. I need to be able to know the true history of events. So that's what I study. And I get down to the bottom of it. And I can tell you, self-limited beliefs is going to hold you up. Because sometimes your ancestors, they trying to push certain things to you through your intuition. And if you don't believe that that's what's happening, sometimes you won't get the message. Wait a minute. It's no way that this just came out. Something's not right. Okay, this was already out here. That was the Three of Cups, and I know I already had that Three of Cups. Must have jumped back in the deck. Look, Three of Wands. I'm getting every three out. Now we got the Three of Wands. To the Seven of Swords, which was in reverse. I'm going to leave it there. Ace of Swords. We cooking, baby. Tonight. I love whoever y'all are. Y'all bunch of people right here. Y'all make sure y'all come back here tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But, yeah, I like sitting with y'all. Three of Wands. 333 can be significant. Angel number 333. I don't know what it is. Look it up. But Spirit says it could be significant for you. You got the Three of Cups out here, the Three of Wands out here, the Three of Pentacles out here. The Three of Wands to the Seven of Swords is being so prepared for the foolishness. Like Three of Wands is a card of inside awareness. It's like being, normally on the Three of Wands, you'll see a person that's levitating off the ground, and they'll be looking down at the water. They can see the ships coming in, kind of energy. Meaning like you got a foresight, a deeper sense, right? And with the Seven of Swords in reverse, this is what's keeping people from coming into your energy, being able to steal from you. This Three of Wands. Look at this Three of Wands. See? He levitating. Levitating off the ground. That air of levitation, that's what's keeping you above the foolery. Like the Seven of Swords energy, right? And also, this Three of Wands brings the confession out too, right? The Seven of Swords in reverse is like Off the Three of Wands, it can be you walking in an energy that's so powerful, it's causing people that done you wrong to really get in the energy of wanting to confess. Yeah, I feel some of them behind an 8 ball right now, trying to find a way to come out and tell you about a wrong that was done. I see it. I feel it, right? That Three of Wands to the Seven of Swords in reverse, they know you see it. So it's like that's what see, and that's the guilt right there. Like when you get in that Three of Wands energy, shit get different because now people see you levitating off that ground. You ain't in that same. You're not contemporary no more, right? You got immobility, spiritual immobility, and when people see you get that mobile, they start wondering, well, how much do they really know? And the more they wonder, the more it tell on them. So that shit get crouchy in a person's soul. And then your ancestors be over there doing things. So they be feeling a wind. They be feeling like, well, maybe if I tell them things, it'd be different. And they right. They are right. But a lot of people don't want to accept that. So they still run. The confession is like they confess it to the universe and pray that God make a way for it to reach you. Some people don't understand energy, right? Not realizing confession has to be direct. In order for curses to stop, I'm talking to somebody. When people put curses on you, sometimes spirits will lift them curses off. But ain't nothing moving without no confession. You can bet that. In order for you to take a curse back off of somebody that you put the curse on, you gotta tell them that you done it. And pray for the mercy of the spirits. But if you still trying to conceal the matter, people, ancestors not gonna let up off of you. And the spirits not gonna let up off of you. If it go wrong, the only thing that can give you some room to breathe, for whoever this may be, is confession. I ain't talking about the confession when you go and confess to the man that sit behind the wall. Nah, you gotta go to the person who you offended and make it right. And let them know what they did. Let them know what you did. It says coming clean, confession, regret, rethink and approach, truth revealed. You know what I mean? All us it's all in the card. It's all in the card. And that's somebody in that energy right there. I hear your ancestors saying, very regretful. You got somebody out here very regretful right now. They trying to think back to the night they done what they did. And rethinking from there. Now realizing they could think about it from 100 million different ways, but the spirit is still telling them confession. It says it on the card. Come clean, confess, rethink approach, truth revealed. So collective, somebody in your energy, just know it ain't on you. Stay in the Three of Wands where you up here. Don't try to figure nothing out. Don't try to figure nothing out. They gonna come tell you. They gonna tell you. They gonna tell you. Might not be on your time, right? But I promise you, if you come out the Three of Wands, you gonna mess up. You gotta stay in the Three of Wands where you walking above everything. Because that's the frequency. Remember I told you at the beginning of this, in the spirit realm, your frequency is your address. So once your frequency up here, your address down here, you don't live there no more. So you gotta stay up here where you live at now. Don't go back down here in the projects no more. Stay up here. You doing life getting better. If you stay up here, the shit down here that need to come to you, it'll come up there. Confessions and everything. It'll come to you. But stay in Three of Wands energy. Because somebody, your ancestors is letting them know, probably at this moment right now, You know what your ancestors letting them know in their mind? They saying, hey, you, ain't shit gonna change till you confess. They the whispers that they hear. That's how it be for them. They lay down, they hear them whispers. Hey, ain't nothing gonna change until you confess. Right? And they be knowing it too. I really feel somebody, Spirit has let me feel their energy, how some of them write the message and then delete the message. They write the message and then delete it. You might even see your phone. You know how the phone put the dots when the messages is writing? You might see somebody and the message is sending, but it never come through. That's because people going through it. This 3 of Wands to this 7 of Swords. I'm going to tell you what the card say again. This is for a karmic now, okay? Come clean, confess, regret, rethink approach, and truth revealed. Again, I say, don't go looking for it. They're going to tell you everything you need to know because the Ace of Swords is out here. That's the truth. And when spirits say the truth got to come out, the truth got to come out. I seen it. I seen it happen to somebody. I seen somebody get affected by a spirit known as a roaming spirit, right? A roaming spirit is a spirit that settle upon certain people and it make you feel like inside is claustrophobic and you got to go out and just walk. And some people, when they don't want to confess or they wrongdoing, they get hit with them roaming spirits where they just be roaming. And if they ain't roaming around in the physical, they mind is roaming. Their life is roaming, right? Ace of Swords. The truth is going to come. When Spirit says bring the truth got to come. Or somebody ain't going to rest, you know. Somebody hair falling out. It's at the midnight, so I see a lot more in my clairs at this time. You know, the world is at rest, but I see a lot more. I see somebody in the energy of Spirit that already told them to confess their wrongdoings. And because they holding on to the confession, every little ache and pain they get, they think their life is coming to an end. They always in the mirror, looking at their face. Somebody feel like their jaw getting skinny. All these things is happening because somebody won't confess. But they will. Ace of Swords. You know why they will? Because Spirit says so. The truth is being demanded. Stay in 3 of Wands energy. That's all I can tell you. Stay, like I said, your address up here in the spirit is this frequency. That other address down there is on this frequency. Long as you stay up here and your address where you now reside and where you live at, you ain't got to worry about nothing down here. And anything down here that Spirit needs you to get, that shit gonna rise up to your address. 3 of Wands. Hold it. Ain't no need to come down. See, one of my downloads was it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, don't shoot. For those of y'all that just got in here. And Spirit bringing it back to me like, see, it was a time where you was full of dread. You know, you was full of depression and anxiety because somebody was withholding the truth from you. Well, now the tables have changed. Now they in depression and anxiety for holding the truth from you. You good. You balancing out. You balancing out. It's them now. Remember the lie that they held that made them feel so good is the same lie that your ancestors using to whip them. Holding that lie is like holding hot coals in their bosom. They wake up. I should just tell the truth. And your peoples be like, yeah, that's the best move. You know what your ancestors saying to them? Hey, ain't shit gonna change until you confess. That's what they saying to them. Along them words, along them lines. Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles to the Two of Cups in reverse. So this Eight of Pentacles to the Two of Cups in reverse, I like it, right? Because it shows me that you're working on self and you're showing yourself love, right? The Two of Cups in reverse, sometimes it can be a bad relationship or an unhealthy relationship. But in this case, I think it's basically you just saying, nah, this one about me. Eight of Pentacles, self-mastery. Two of Cups, self-love. Disharmony, distrust, breakups, imbalance, tension, broken communication. I mean, I feel like if this is out here, it needs to be, right? Because this Two of Cups in reverse is bringing you self-love off the Eight of Pentacles. So for somebody, it gotta be you at this point. It got to be you, you know. Somebody you gave so much of yourself. Now you full of distrust, disharmony, breakups, imbalance. Your Two of Cups is in reverse. You have to love yourself out of this. You're not even fit to be in a relationship probably. Not with this Two of Cups in reverse to the self-love on the Eight of Pentacles. You got work to do. And if you is in a relationship, right? It's work to do there too. Because disharmony and distrust and breakups, right? Any relationship that I was ever in where we broke up and made up and broke up and made, it really amounted to be, for me, it was a waste of time. I mean, I got some lessons out of it. So I wouldn't say that. But, I mean, I could have saved myself that grief. That breakup, the makeup, the breakup, the makeup, the breakup, the makeup, it all amounts to wasted time. It's like, where do we get if we in that kind of energy, right? That's why Spirit's saying somebody need to, you know, if you're going through this breakup, the makeup energy, during the next breakup, find a way to strengthen yourself, right? So when you do make up, you got some substance to bring back to the table. But this breakup, the makeup, the breakup, the makeup, the breakup, the makeup, it's too risky out here for that, right? Let this Two of Cups in reverse be about self-love to the Eight of Pentacles, self-mastery. Digging a little deeper within yourself to find out what's going on deep down on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Use the breakup for that. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm just trying to give you some good advice, right? If you in that relationship where you break up and then y'all make up, on them breakups, learn something. Don't sit around and moping around, man. You know the cycle by now, break up to make up. So if the breakup, you know the makeup coming. But during one of these breakups, do something different. Grab hold of some Three of Wands energy, right? Have a deeper look. Judgment is in reverse, right? Self-doubt, inner critic, lack of self-awareness, self-loathing, punishment, destruction, ignoring the call. And I feel like these are aspects of yourself that you are working on. Self-doubt and being your worst inner critic. Eight of Pentacles to the Judgment in reverse. I feel as though there's a lot of hope. But like, I'm really talking to somebody right now who makes up and breaks up. Don't doubt yourself. Don't, you know, if you feel like life is the same cycle, do something different. Even if it's only one thing. Even if it's only listening to an inspirational message. But if you do nothing different, you're going to get the same result, desired or undesired. A thing in motion, it stays in motion. So if I throw something in negative motion, it's going to remain in negative motion until something outside comes and disturbs that motion. You understand? That's Newton's law, right? If it's in motion, the relationship is negative. Make up, break up, make up, break up, make up, break up. So it's negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, right? But we want to find out how can we get a string of consistent positive energy to flow through. Well, we got to do something different. Got to create a new flow. Get 3 more cards and I'm going to get out of here, y'all. Knight of Pentacles. Okay. The Sun in reverse. What's this? To the Tower. So the Knight of Pentacles in reverse here is showing you in a mode of self-discipline, you're able to hold back, which is good. I feel as it says boredom, feeling stuck, stagnation. Maybe I feel like, you know, this is self-discipline. So this is like moving slow. Moving slow. I'm going to just say moving slow with it, right? Because I don't really feel like this, just moving slow with it. Like showing a little bit of temperament as well. You know, not being, this like one of them energies where it's like, somebody call you, hey bro, you trying to run down here with me? And with everything in you, you want to go down there with them, but you just like, nah, man, I'm going to hang back. Or your homegirl call, Garrett, you going out tonight, Garrett? You going with us? And everything in you want to go, but you like, nah, I'm not going to go, right? And I think somebody holding back for the greater you. The Knight of Pentacles is a slow-moving energy, right? So, I feel like it's the energy of somebody you finally learning from your mistakes. You finally beginning to learn how moving fast toward things lands you in unpredictable situations. And the older we get, nobody wants to be in unpredictable shit. Like, you know, I don't want to leave out not knowing what's going to happen later on. I'm older now. Like, I'm grown now, right? So I don't even want to leave out without a plan, you know? So that could be somebody. You starting to mature. That's all it is maturity. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I was once advised by a wise man. He said, Harv, don't leave out this house unless you got somewhere to go and you know where you're going, you know, and don't leave out without a plan. And that was valuable information, you know, because a lot of times in that environment where I was at, people that left out with plans, they ended up getting into different things, and some people didn't fare so well. So I feel like this energy, yes, is bored. I know. Sometimes you feel stuck. I understand. You know, sometimes stagnated. You know, I understand all of these things. But it's all a part of maturity. Life is not one big ball of responding to everything that's fun. Right? And that's the inner child. Sun in reverse. I feel like you came away from that. The sun is in reverse out here. Pessimism, negativity, depression, sadness with the Tower, which your end came to. So I feel like somebody, you went through You went through some things, some negativity, you went through some depression, even some careless and reckless days. Done some things you ain't too proud of. But a tower did come. And with that tower, I think this is the major changing factor in somebody's whole flow. The tower came. Somebody could have went to prison. Somebody could have lost a job. Somebody could have lost a relationship. Somebody could have just took a loss. Only it wasn't a loss. It was actually a gain. I know it didn't seem like it, but somebody that went through it, you know what I'm talking about. Somebody that's getting ready to go through it, you might not know what I'm talking about. So ask somebody that went through it. When those towers hit, a lot of times they seem like, man, why is this happening? But I guarantee you, 4 or 5 months down the line, you look back and be like, okay, I see what God was doing now. I see exactly what the ancestors was finessing when they did that right there. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. And that's what the tower is a lot of times. It's a necessary occurrence, right? Doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's bad. I like to look at a tower moment as this. It's a side where it's a thing where either it's like an occurrence that happens that starts in the spirit, a necessary event that happens from spirit to the physical. And I feel like when a tower drop, you got the karmic side and then you got the dharmic side, right? You either on the good side of the tower or the bad side of the tower because the tower is coming. Especially for anybody that's progressing, moving ahead, and you connected to shit that you don't supposed to be connected to, a tower will come. It has to. Because sometimes we not powerful enough to really break away from what we need to break away from. We just can't shake certain things. So what? The Most High sent a tower in. Boom. Doesn't always feel good. But anybody that's here that has a certain amount of wisdom that's been on the right side of a tower, they can tell you when the tower hit, you don't know whether you on the right or the wrong side. Shit, all you know is a tower hit. Boom. But soon, you'll know. Soon after the tower falls, it all makes sense. And somebody, I feel like you on the right side of the tower, And I'm going to say something too. This Knight of Pentacles in reverse to this tower, be sure that when you go out, you know where you going, you know who you with, you know what you getting into. Because this Knight of Pentacles to the tower is also spirit warning somebody to hold back in some area or another, right? It could be from going out somewhere. Like, I feel like this would resonate with those that need it to resonate. If you know you like to be in risky situations and go to places where risky things happening, Spirit is saying basically, learn how to hold back from that. Because sometimes towers hit, and when they hit, they just hit. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It's like, speaking of towers, think about the Twin Towers. When the planes hit the Twin Towers, you know who was affected by it? You know what the Twin Towers were? They were a neural center of commerce, meaning that it was foreign dignitaries in the Twin Towers. People from foreign nations, they was all in there. So when the airplane hit the tower, they got hit too. Right? Why? Because they was in the same house. So I feel like with this tower, Spirit is wanting you to avoid it by not being in the same vicinity or house when this tower hit. Is it making sense to you? Like, don't jump in the car with people when you ain't certain what they got in there and where they going and where they came from and what they done inside the car. Don't get in the car. Because if a tower hit the car, it hit you too. You get it? Because I feel like Spirit is wanting to warn somebody to be in the Knight of Pentacles, self-discipline, to avoid a tower. Or not avoid a tower, because towers are unavoidable. But to be on the dharmic side of the tower as opposed to the karmic side. We want the dharmic side. Because again, when the tower hit, don't nobody know when a tower hit, it's just a tower. Boom! You gonna feel it too, right? The energy of the Bible says it rains on the just and the unjust just alike. So when them towers hit, like for instance, a tower hit, boom, and it kills somebody's hustle or some money or whatever. You can't get the money now because the tower done hit. So your money dried up. But you still on the dharmic side, you got a chance to recuperate. Maybe God's showing you some things. Maybe it's some lessons to be learned. I don't know. I'm going to pick 2 more cards and I'm going to end this reading. I love you all. It was comfortable in here at this hour. I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm seeing through these cards. Don't let the drowning pull you under while trying to rescue them. Indeed. Indeed. You know what that reminds me of, eh? I remember I spent some time away in what I like to call school. And they used to say, don't let the gravitational pull of negativity pull you back in, right? And it's true. They would say that about going back to the streets. You know, people would say like, the streets has a gravitational pull to it. And it's hard to withstand it, right? So people would say, you know, stay out the gravity of it. Because once you get into the gravity, it'll pull you down. You ain't strong enough to fight it. And that's the same analogy, you know? Okay, we got 10 of Cups. This is my ancestral family love card. I don't care if you're having problems with your family in real life. Your family on the other side love you, according to the 10 of Cups. My 10 of Cups is an ancestral... 10 of Cups is my definition of ancestral love, potential, and promise. The 10 of Pentacles is inheritance. So the 10 of Cups is so many possibilities that you have in relation to your ancestors, what you were able to do, what you were able to achieve, because the love is there and the potential is there. Divine love, harmony, blissful relationship, inner happiness, fulfillment, and inner happiness can definitely be ancestral alignment, because ancestors, they live around us. They live in through us, right? Family, contentment. Last card. Knight of Cups. Big water sign energy, right? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Creativity, romantic charm, imagination, beauty, knight in shining armor, following the heart proposals. So also in my ancestral reading, the 10 of Cups to the Knight of Cups is spirit guide energy. Spirit guide to the 10 of Cups. Creativity, imagination, knight in shining armor, spirit guide, protector, following the heart proposal. Listen, I feel like somebody with all of these cups, you have a very powerful intuition. I'm saying very powerfully, intuitively, psychic intuitive individuals in this reading right here. So it's on you where you gonna take that at. I can't place that for you. I can't give you advice about that. We offer personal readings, but somebody, you have to make a decision to really, really understand what's going on inside of you and what God placed down on you. You know, what it leads back to, where it stems from, because you made up of a lot of things that you may not be able to sort out right now. And it requires you to open up, shed those limited beliefs. I'm not over here knocking the Bible. You will never hear me knock Jesus. You will never hear me knock any of those things. I'm not angry to be doing all that. I believe that my insight is from a more spiritual, it's spiritually practical all the way through and through. But my shit is anti-religious because I know that all religions are shaped and tailor-made by men. The Most High sits above all of that, right? And that's what we like to tap into, because once you tap into the Most High, that's when you really get to grooving with your ancestors, right? You get to really, really understanding what's really going on and not a programmed doctrine. So many people live life on a programmed channel. We go with what we was shown, we go with what we was taught, we go with what we was given. And the minute we step outside of that, we confront it with fear. And when we see fear, we go right back into what we already are, regular scheduled programming. You gotta break out of that shit, you know? Turn the TV off. Regular scheduled programming, that shit is outdated now, okay? We already know what they did with everything. We know what they did with Jesus' name. We know what they did with that. We know what they did over here. None of that is important anymore, right? It doesn't matter, right? Go with a deeper feeling. Go deeper. Go deeper, right? Find out what's going on within your Ten of Cups. A lot of ancestral energy, a lot of metaphysical energy. To the Knight of Cups, creativity, romantic charm, and imagination. And I want to say this before I leave. When it comes to ancestral communication, you need a very vivid, vivacious, healthy imagination. Because the things that you conceive at the tip of your imagination are oftentimes the areas where the ancestral and astral realms interlock. When your thought exhausts itself, you know, when you get to when you exhaust your thoughts, oftentimes you lock into ethereal realms. And that's why people say, when people can't balance that, they call you crazy. They can't wait for you to get there and can't balance it. Up, you crazy, that one crazy. But it's about balance. We go to them thresholds, y'all. We go straight out of this program, natural ass state of mind, and we lock into ethereal realms and we get downloads. And then we come back and we live life practical, non-offensive, real cool, real easy. Have a conversation about Cardi, Papoose, Terrence Crawford, anybody. We can talk about all of them. And then we can shift right out of that and tell you the demon you moving in. Right? Why? Because we connected to a higher power. We exhaust this thought and we connect into ethereal realms. This is what we do. Ten of Cups out here. Somebody, stop playing with that. Stop letting fear smack you back out of your gift. It's like somebody, you hear from the ancestors, you hear from your spirit team, they give you a little premonition, give you a little something. Next thing you know, you feeling demonic. You want to go back. You feel like a witch. Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. I'm fearful. Listen, step out of that. Do away with all that. Stop being controlled by the same people that know what I'm spitting is real. They know that 100%. The people that put the Bible together, if we go dig them up, they'll stand right before you and tell you what this young black kid is saying is, what this black man right here is saying is true. He's telling the truth. Because, yo, they had to train us to move away from metaphysical thought, ancestral connection, and understanding in order for us to be controlled. You can't control somebody that talk to their ancestors on a regular. You can't tell somebody that talk to their ancestors that they need to be reborn over again, because they know that they don't. Like, you feel me? Like, so what this is the end of this missive. I pray that it resonated. I pray that God blesses you. And I pray that I see you back here tomorrow, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to be a blessing to the demonstration over here, the information is on the page. Cash App is on the page, and I believe my wife posted Zelle. So I'm going to give y'all a little play out tune. Before I go, I'm going to play y'all out. God bless you all. See you all in the AM. Me and my wife, we'll be back then.